Little Duckling, Mimo's Lake Adventure. As the morning sun reflected on the lake's surface, a quiet stir began. Between the reeds, a tiny duckling with soft yellow feathers opened its eyes to the world. Its name was Mimo. Before it could fully open its eyes, it snuggled back into the warmth of its mother's safe and loving wings. Beside Mimo were 8 little siblings. They had all gathered around their mother like a circle, starting a life together in the wide and clear lake. Mimo's world was still small. His mother, his siblings, and the warm morning sunlight that gently touched their faces each day. But with every passing day, the lake offered new surprises. A duck's life began early in the morning. As the first rays of sunlight appeared, the mother duck would gently wake her ducklings, as if saying, "Come on now, a new day is starting," and lead them slowly toward the lake. For Mimo, these moments were thrilling. Stepping into the water for the first time was a bit scary, but curiosity was stronger. Ducks are born ready to swim. Mimo quickly learned how to stay balanced on the water, paddling his feet gently. When he felt the first ripple of a wave, his eyes sparkled. "I like this." The days passed with joy. The ducklings played on the water's surface, explored water plants and tiny insects. Sometimes Mimo raced with his siblings. Other times, he dipped his head underwater, trying to discover what lay on the lake bottom. One of his favorite things was to follow fallen leaves floating on the water. He would chase them, catch them gently with his beak, then let them go again. Over time, Mimo began to understand nature better. Ants walking through the grass, frogs resting on lily pads, seagulls gliding through the sky. Everything was anew. Discovery. His mother patiently explained the balance of nature. "Every creature has a place and a purpose in this world, my little one. Ducks usually live between 5 to 10 years. During this time, they go on many journeys, migrate with the seasons, and discover different lakes and rivers." But Mimo was still very young. There was still time before he could fly, migrate, and travel far. First, he had to grow, his feathers had to thicken, and his wings had to strengthen. At night, silence ruled the lake shore. When the moonlight touched the water, the mother duck would wrap her wings around her ducklings. Mimo would nestle among his siblings, resting his head gently on his mother's feathers. But before falling asleep, he always told a story. "Today I saw a frog. It jumped into the water with a splash. Then it hopped away." His siblings laughed at these stories and said, "You always have something to tell." Time passed and seasons changed. Mimo's feathers turned from yellow to brown. He was stronger now. He could swim faster on the lake's surface and keep his balance easily when the wind blew. One morning, his mother took him to a small hill by the lake. "Today, we're going to try something different," she said. Mimo was going to learn how to fly. Although he was a little scared, he was so excited he could hardly stay still. He flapped his wings, tried to keep his balance, and finally let himself go into the air. At first, he wobbled slightly, but then he began to glide over the lake. The wind brushed his face, and his wings lifted him toward the sky. And in that moment, Mimo understood. Being a duck wasn't just about swimming, it was about exploring the sky, discovering the world, and finding your own path. Mimo's lake. Adventure was only just beginning. Mimo was no longer just a duckling. He was a brave duck who had been born on the lake shore and now soared into the sky. After realizing he could fly, he felt an indescribable excitement every time he looked. Up each morning, as the sun rose, he flew a little higher. Watching every creature he knew from above was an entirely new feeling. He promised his siblings that he would teach them to fly too. "We'll discover new lakes and rivers together." From that day on, Mimo flew farther every day, but he always returned home by evening. Because even the most beautiful journeys only gain meaning when shared with loved ones. And one day, when the wind changed direction, his mother came to him and said, "Are you ready, Mimo? We're setting off on our first migration." Mimo took a deep breath and soared into the sky. This was just the beginning. And so, a brand new chapter began in Mimo's life. That innocent story that began by the lake had now turned into the journey of a duck gliding freely through the sky. He was now a traveler, curious, brave, and full of love for nature. They say every ending is the door to a new beginning. And Mimo's adventure was really just getting started. because every courageous flap of wings is where dreams begin. Thank you for watching this beautiful story with us. We appreciate you watching our tale. See you in new stories. We are grateful you joined us for this tale of friendship from the heart of the forest.